Most people rely on motivation to achieve their goals, and that's why most people fail. Because motivation is temporary, it comes and goes. Some days you feel inspired, other days you don't. And on the days you don't feel motivated, nothing gets done. But successful people don't rely on motivation, they rely on systems. Systems that work whether they feel like it or not. Systems that produce results regardless of their mood. And once you build a system that works for you, success becomes inevitable. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to build a personal success system that will keep producing results even when you don't feel motivated. For years, I chased motivation. I'd get inspired, set big goals, work hard for a few weeks, and then lose steam. The motivation would fade, life would get busy, and I'd stop making progress. Then I'd feel guilty, beat myself up, get motivated again, start over, and the cycle would repeat. I thought I lacked discipline, that I wasn't committed enough, that I needed to try harder. But that wasn't the problem. The problem was I was relying on willpower instead of building systems. Then I learned something that changed everything. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Your goals are aspirations. Your systems are what actually get you there. And if your system is weak, your goals don't matter. You won't achieve them. Not because you don't want to, but because you haven't built the infrastructure to support success. Here's what we're covering. First, why relying on motivation and willpower always fails and what actually creates consistent results. Second, the difference between outcome-based goals and system-based goals and why one works while the other doesn't. And third, the three components every success system needs so it works automatically without requiring constant motivation. Let's start with why motivation doesn't work. Motivation is an emotion, and emotions fluctuate. Some days you wake up fired up, ready to conquer the world. Other days you wake up tired, unmotivated, overwhelmed. And if your success depends on feeling motivated, you'll only make progress on the good days, which means you won't make consistent progress, which means you won't achieve your goals. Here's what's actually happening. When you rely on motivation, you're relying on an external spark to get you moving. Something inspires you, a video, a book, a conversation, and you feel energized, you take action. But that spark fades, and when it does, you stop. Because you haven't built a system that keeps you moving even when the spark is gone. Successful people don't wait for motivation. They have systems that keep them moving regardless of how they feel. They've built routines, processes, and structures that make success automatic. Not because they're more disciplined, but because they've made the right actions so easy and automatic that they don't require willpower. The system does the work, not their emotions. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't wait until you feel motivated to brush your teeth. You just do it. It's a system. It's automatic. It's so ingrained that you don't even think about it. That's what a success system does. It makes the right actions so automatic that you do them whether you feel like it or not. And that's how you create consistent results. Now, most people set outcome-based goals. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to make 6 figures. I want to write a book. And those are fine aspirations, but they're not systems. They're outcomes. And outcomes are out of your control. You can't directly control whether you lose 20 pounds. You can't directly control whether you make 6 figures. What you can control are your actions, your daily behaviors, your systems. This is the difference between outcome-based goals and system-based goals. Outcome-based goals focus on the result. System-based goals focus on the process. And the process is what you can actually control. Instead of, I want to lose 20 pounds, you create a system. I work out for 30 minutes every morning and eat whole foods for every meal. Instead of, I want to make 6 figures, you create a system. I dedicate 2 hours every day to building my business and learning the skills I need. The outcome might happen, it might not. But if you focus on the system, you're making progress every single day. And progress compounds. Small actions repeated consistently create massive results over time. That's how success actually works. Not through bursts of motivation, but through consistent execution of a simple system. I learned this with writing. I used to have outcome-based goals. I want to write a book. I want to publish an article every week. And I'd fail because I was focused on the outcome. Then I shifted to a system. I write 1,000 words every morning, no matter what. Whether I feel inspired or not, whether it's good or not, I just write. and within a year, I'd written more than I had in the previous decade because I had a system that worked regardless of my motivation. Now, here's how you actually build a success system that works automatically without requiring constant willpower or motivation. Component number one: design your environment to make the right actions effortless and the wrong actions difficult. Your environment is more powerful than your willpower. If you're trying to eat healthy but your kitchen is full of junk food, you'll fail. If you're trying to focus but your phone is next to you with notifications on, you'll get distracted. Your environment will win every time. So you don't fight your environment, you design it. Here's what this looks like. If you want to work out every morning, you put your workout clothes next to your bed. So when you wake up, the first thing you see is your workout gear. You've made the right action visible and easy. If you want to eat healthy, you meal prep on Sunday. So when you're hungry during the week, the healthy food is ready. You've removed the friction. And you make the wrong actions harder. If you want to stop scrolling social media, you delete the apps from your phone. If you want to stop snacking at night, you don't buy snacks. You're not relying on willpower to resist temptation. You're removing the temptation. You're designing your environment so the path of least resistance is the right action. I redesigned my entire workspace for deep work. No phone in the room, no distractions visible, just my computer and a notebook. And it changed everything. Because I wasn't fighting distractions constantly, I'd removed them. And the right action, focusing, became the easiest option. Component number two: build keystone habits that create a cascade of positive behaviors. Not all habits are created equal. Some habits have a ripple effect. When you do them, other positive behaviors follow automatically. These are called keystone habits. And if you build the right keystone habits, everything else becomes easier. For most people, exercise is a keystone habit. When you work out in the morning, you're more likely to eat healthy throughout the day. You're more likely to stay productive. You're more likely to sleep better at night. One habit creates a chain reaction, and before you know it, you're living healthier across the board. Not because you're trying harder, but because the keystone habit triggered everything else. Here's how you identify your keystone habit. Ask yourself, what's one action that, if I did it consistently, would make everything else easier? For some people, it's waking up early. For others, it's meditation. For others, it's journaling. The specific habit doesn't matter. What matters is that it's a habit that creates momentum for everything else. Once you identify your keystone habit, you protect it. You do it every single day, no exceptions. And you notice how it affects the rest of your day, how it creates energy, clarity, focus, and you let it work. You don't need to build 10 new habits at once. You just need one keystone habit that makes everything else easier. My keystone habit is morning writing. When I write first thing in the morning, I'm more focused for the rest of the day. I'm more creative. I'm more productive. One habit creates the foundation for everything else, and I protect that habit like my life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Component number three: track your inputs, not your outcomes, and review weekly to stay on course. Most people track outcomes. Did I lose weight? Did I make money? Did I achieve the goal? And when the outcomes don't show up fast enough, they get discouraged. They quit because they're focused on what they can't control. Here's what you do instead. You track your inputs, your daily actions, your system. Did I work out today? Did I write? Did I follow my process? These are things you can control. And if you're tracking them, you're staying accountable to your system, not waiting for outcomes that might take months to show up. Every day you check a box. Did I execute my system? Yes or no? It's binary. There's no gray area. And over time, you build a streak, a visual record of your consistency. And that streak becomes motivating on its own. You don't want to break it. So you keep showing up. And every week you review. Did I stick to my system? Where did I struggle? What got in the way? What can I adjust for next week? You're not beating yourself up. You're learning. You're refining. You're making your system better. And over time, your system becomes so dialed in that success is inevitable. I track everything in a simple spreadsheet. Every day, I mark whether I executed my system. Did I write? Did I work out? Did I meditate? At the end of the week, I review and I adjust. And that simple practice has created more progress than any burst of motivation ever did. Here's what I want you to understand. Success isn't about motivation. It's about systems. It's about building an infrastructure that keeps you moving forward even when you don't feel like it. It's about designing your environment, building keystone habits, and tracking your process. And when you do that, success becomes a byproduct, not something you chase, something that happens naturally because your system is working. We covered why motivation fails. It's temporary and unreliable. We distinguish between outcome-based and system-based goals. One focuses on results, the other on process. And we walk through the three components of a success system. Design your environment to make the right actions easy. Build keystone habits that create cascading positive behaviors, and track your inputs while reviewing weekly. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being consistent. It's about building a system that works for you, that fits your life, that makes success automatic. And once you have that system, everything changes because you're no longer fighting yourself, you're working with yourself. So here's your practice for today. Identify one goal you want to achieve. Then ask, what's the system that would get me there? What daily action, if I did it consistently, would create that result? Write it down. Then design your environment to make that action easy. And start tracking, one day at a time, one action at a time. Let me know in the comments, what's one system you're going to build this week? What daily action will you commit to? You don't need more motivation, you need a better system. Welcome to building success that lasts. This is where real progress begins.